All right, man. But how can I help you? Where are you at, dude? What's going on? Give me the update.
Two big arguments. One that you know about Friday night.
Yeah.
Uh, Stat responded all weekend. Things seemed to get better, but she was still ramming into the side of my car, saying, um, "Don't touch me," or like she would call me babe still. She said, "I love you," even that night after. Um,
Hmm.
but she's very distant, standoffish for sure. And then we got in a huge
So,
argument Wednesday night, and then still Stat responded. We had a date last night, at home date, went good. Um, but I noticed last night she was saying stuff. So we did. I had a. She was still working at the house we were working on. My mother-in-law took the girls, so I had about an hour to do something. So I went and got our favorite burritos and tacos. Made a fire outside real quick because we kind of been working on our back porch. We had the light. I put the lights up the other day. A hanging swing. Did
nice.
all that. Built a little fire. Had water in like mason jar mugs. Made some Moscow mules, blackberry Moscow mules. She usually likes. She took 2 sips of it last night. No big deal. And we ate and had fun. She's like, "Oh, babe, thanks." And she's acting. The last 2 days, she put on her rubber ring, which is really odd to me. We've gotten two of the biggest fights we've had in 6 months, and now she's wearing her rubber ring also. And some of my insecurities came out too in the fights and stuff. And so I'm really curious as to why she's wearing that now, all of a sudden. And she's still calling me babe and stuff. And I was trying to hug on her this morning, be playful. She's like, "Stop, stop." And it's all good. But last night she said something. So the adventure card, we did a 30 to 60 minute at home date adventure card, and
Hmm.
it said, "Do a couples massage or massage your partner's feet or feet for 10 minutes." And then it said at the end, it always kind of has a follow up question, like metaphorically or figuratively, which whatever goes on with the card. It said, "How's your partner helped you stretch or grow?" And
Mm.
she is, you know her. She's not the type to be like all gooey and gooey.
No.
She's rough around the edges. And so, and Jeff's girl seems like that too. We were talking earlier, and I answered first. I kind of gave her like 5, 10 seconds, and she kind of was like, I could tell this is weirding me out, deep conversation. And so I was just like, "You've helped me grow, become a better man. Show me what I need to work on, and I appreciate that." And then
Hmm.
she came back with, uh, she came back. She's like, "Yeah, you're pushing me to do this interior design, so me and the girls can live on our own sometime soon." I was like,
Got it.
I didn't
Yeah,
know.
that's that's
And she's
that's
saying
a
all
really
these
nice
things,
answer.
babe.
Thank you.
She's saying all these. She's still saying, "Babe, I love you." She's wearing her ring 2 days now in a row. Um, she allowed me to hold her hand today. We were doing a little garage sailing before we met up at this house to work. The lady actually came to town, so we were helping her clean out a Penske truck. She brought some artwork and some beds and mattresses and stuff. And so I'm really just kind of weirded out by that. She rammed in my car last night for sure with that comment.
Yeah,
And I just
absolutely
was,
she did.
I didn't, I was like half asleep, kind of like we were both tired when we were doing it. We were just laying in bed hanging out. And I didn't respond in a negative way, but I didn't respond in like a positive way. Like, "Nah, babe, no way. I love you too much." I just was like kind of quiet. Like, "Oh," and kind of just giggled, which I don't know if that was the wrong move.
Excuse me. Well, I don't think it was wrong.
Looking
Like
back, but
neutral is always better than negative, right? So I don't think it
yeah.
was wrong. But
Why would you say that? Why would you say that and start an argument for no reason? I'm not going to do that.
well, this is what my take is on it. So you guys had a pretty bad argument last week, right? And so that reminded her of all of the bad shit that you've had in the past. Okay,
Yep.
so now you're showing up and you're stat responding. You mentioned it several times, right? So you're showing up, you're not reacting, you're just being a responsive man with impact, and you're trying to provide the structure for where you're going. And she likes that. Remember, here's something that you're not thinking of right now is over the last few months, especially, you've really shown up differently, right? What happened here is when you had this big episode with her last week, and remember you called me and you're feeling so guilty, right? You're feeling like you felt like you were like the old guy again, right?
Yeah, it was
But
disgusting.
yeah, you were disgusted, and you should reflect like that so that we can move forward. But what you're not realizing is you are not the old man anymore. Okay. And so she also knows this, James. Like we started talking August last year, and then specifically, and you made lots of massive improvements, but she was really checked out. specifically in the last few months, especially the new reset, like you got in, you started practicing it, you started getting into it, right? And you are totally this new man. You had a mistake. You remember we spent a lot of time on the phone saying, no, that's just a mistake. That doesn't define who you are. Okay?
Right.
She can see that. She knows who you are. So if you think back to the beginning when we started this whole journey together, okay? Do you remember how she would say, I'm not falling for this again. You can't trick me, or I can't remember the exact words, but it was like, I'm not gonna make the same mistakes, I think is actually what it was, right? And but now she has seen the new guy so often and so much that even though you felt so terrible, which you should be not proud of who you were last weekend, right? But even though that's the guy that you're like, oh fuck, I hate myself for that. But you're actually not that guy anymore. You just had a mistake. You made a mistake. Okay. Now, it doesn't seem like it because she hasn't done a program. She's not learning. She's not growing. And so she's subtly making changes, which is what you're seeing right now. This is a massive, massive win where she's throwing on her ring. Okay. Massive win.
See, part of me is like
It's
that's her way of communicating, like, I love you, it's okay, you know?
Exactly.
But then my
you
mind
see
can
her
put
changes.
to the opposite
Yes,
of like,
because you're going back to that guy, that hurtful, I'm a terrible guy, I hate myself, it's your nice guy going fuck, right? And so if we can stay away from that guy, recognize this is a massive win. So she's not in a program, James, but yet she is still learning and following your examples, right? So you remember, so let's take a break for a second. Go back to the call. The instruction was, okay, get off the phone, go say, boy, did we screw up last night. Let's have an awesome family weekend. And then you said it went way better than you thought it would, right?
Yeah.
And you provided the structure for where you're going. Yeah.
Right.
And so that's you providing structure for where we're going. Okay.
Right.
And so she's going to be upset. She's going to be cranky. She's going to be thinking about the bad James too. But you didn't go that way. And so what you're seeing here is a massive win. But that doesn't mean that original Katie that we remember, that's like, I'm not going to fall for this. It doesn't mean that she's not still in there. She's not getting the actual help. She's following your lead, right? So she rams inside of your car and goes, thank you for inspiring me to do better so I can live without you, fucker, right? So treat it like that. Like it's just a...
And she was like, I'm joking. I don't know. I didn't have a pouty face or anything. I was just like, all right. Or I think I giggled or something. She's like, I'm joking.
Well, and Catherine and I have massive rules around how you joke, but that takes time for both of you to be on page with that, right? And so
the total inconsistency in myself with the insecurities, the monster. I will go a day or two, no big deal, and then I'll picture myself doing something to sneak around, checking on things I shouldn't be. And then she obviously feels that, sense it. It's just
she can smell a mile away.
Battle. Yeah, for sure.
Well, we've talked a lot about insecurities, right? I want you to understand they may never go away, but you will be able to manage them, right? And we've given, I won't give any examples now because we've talked about it lots, but understanding and choosing the direction you want to go, which is what you did, right? So insecurity is not just about, is she having an affair, right? Insecurity is also, is she going to leave me? Oh my gosh, I just screwed up last weekend. How's this weekend going to go? So by choosing... Yeah, but what did you do? You took the advice, you chose to provide the structure for where we want to go, and what happened? It actually went way better than you thought, to where she's wearing a ring this week. That doesn't mean she believes everything. She still was reminded of the past, right? Now, keep in mind, we don't know because we can't assume anything, but keep in mind, she's probably realizing she did not like her behavior either, right? And so she's doing her best to move forward, but she's not in a program. She's not trying. She's just sort of figuring it out as she goes, like most people. So you love her through that. You keep providing structure, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
So what is your... Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
My plan is to do it week by week. Okay, I'm going to mark it literally off my calendar on my phone. Is like, I didn't act on any insecurities today. I didn't act on any insecurities today. And get it up to where it's a game in my own mind. Be like, okay, shit, I've been 90 days now, And if I can alleviate that, I think that's her biggest thing. That's literally the only issue she has. It's like, you go fine, and then it's just like, you ask me who I'm talking to or what, and that's her biggest, like, obviously any woman's real big turnoff is not a confident, insecure man. So
Exactly. So if you can start to act as though you're chasing the feelings that you want, which is what you did last weekend, because you could have been just as insecure. Oh man, she's going to be so mad. It's going to be like everything I say, she's going to be upset. And you start trying to like happy wife, happy life instead of just showing up, right?
right,
That would have been the opposite of what you did, where you go in there and you just show up, right?
right,
That's choosing to not chase the insecurity monster, right? Take the monster's grip, get it off you, and choose the path you want to go. So you got to start patting yourself on the back, man. Like it's massive, because no woman, you said it perfectly, no woman is going to want to be with you if you are scared, insecure.
Right.
I'm not saying you can never be afraid. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that you can't be insecure. But if that's how you make your choices, then she can't count on you. Well, like there goes your protector card. Number one.
And there goes the trust too. Yeah.
And the trust, because if she feels the guilt that you present when you talk about the insecurities, right, then all of a sudden, no room for anything else, right? Nothing.
Right.
Nothing negative can turn to positive. You can only use positive to go positive, right? I think you said something like that in Marriage Lords recently, which is really good, by the way. But what is your plan to move forward then? Because I like the idea of writing it down every day, like add it to your scorecard, so to speak. But have you got a plan for in the moment? Because that's where you're doing you've done probably better than I think every other Lord I've ever had with insecurity issues like you, where you get on the phone, you reach out for help, right?
50-50.
Pardon me?
Yeah, 50-50 for sure. Like
yeah, but it's still better than most.
I'll still hide it, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but it's still better than most. Most are gonna just wait till the bad shit happens and then deal with it 90% of the time. Right? And you're ahead of it. That's because that's how it works. If you're insecure with her, you're insecure about yourself, which means you don't want to ask for help. That's your nice guy. Right? Because then you wouldn't look good enough if you had to ask for help. Right? So don't really beat yourself up about that. In fact, you're a leader when it comes to it. In fact, I can't even tell you how many times I mention your name for somebody who will talk to you, that you'll talk to them when they join the program, because you get it. Right? Most struggle a lot more. So you're in for a long haul, but it's also, it's getting easier and easier. So the plan that needs to be in place really is, what do I want in that moment? You might need to ask for help, or maybe you're a nice guy, or your insecurity, the monster, will prevent you from asking for help. But what do you want in that moment? Right? So if you think back to when you saw her passing you on the highway and you wanted to rip around, what do I want? Do I want to catch her and figure out that she's hurting me, when we're just assuming, we're just guessing? Or do I want to be moving forward and having this incredible life? She knows that we trust each other. That's where we can take a wall down. That's where we can become intimate. That's where we can feel good together, right? So in the moment, what you need to do is choose the direction that you want to go, right? A good example would be exactly what we talked about this last weekend, right? You would have been terrified. You didn't say it, but you were terrified to go get her and go on this family trip, because everything had blew up the night before. Terrified. That's insecurity, right? But you chose, sure, because you asked for help maybe, but you chose, I want to have this wonderful family trip. That's what we need to do every single time something comes up. So this thing that happened with her yesterday, was it yesterday or 2 days ago? With the comment about you. It was yesterday.
Last night. That was last night.
Last night. So when she says something like that, the insecurity is going to creep in. You said you handled it neutrally. That's good. But what could we do to be better? We would choose the direction we want to go, right? And so you're good at this. Just be fun. Just be like, well, that's silly, because we are moving forward. You're not leaving me. I'm not leaving you. If I have to, I'll lock you in the basement.
I just haven't had her bump into my car or test me like that in quite a while, actually.
Well, then what's happening is she's doing that because of what happened last weekend. So go back to how we started this conversation, dude. You've changed a lot. You just don't see it the moment you get sucked into a mistake and you sit in your pain, right? So get out of the pain, realize that you're so much different, so much better. The gaps are so much further in between. You're handling it better. Even if neutral is so much better than shit, that would have been last Friday, right?
Right.
So you learn from it, you move forward, and that's positive. But she's seeing that too. So rightfully so, she's going to make sure she can count on that, right? So put it into perspective. We kind of guided her by saying, babe, boy, did we both screw up last night. Let's go have some fun, have an awesome family weekend. So you're telling her then that, yeah, okay, things are awesome, but we kind of screwed up. Anyways, let's go have some fun. And you provide the structure, you go. But there's one more step for her, which is, well, how do I know you're not going to do that again? Right? But she's probably also thinking, well, I didn't exactly handle myself very well either. That was the old me too. So if you think about that, is there anything to be insecure about? You both made a mistake and you're both moving forward. And you've both come a long way before you made a mistake again.
Right.
That's progress. There's nothing to be insecure about there.
There really isn't. And she's doing everything she said she's going to do. She's on time when she says she's going somewhere. She's leaving her phone all over the place. Like, she's really not. It's just in my mind. I don't know.
Well,
I
you went through
trauma, but
what you went through is traumatic, man.
Extraordinary circumstance that most men don't have to deal with.
Well, whether they do or they don't, I mean, regardless, if you walk in and you see what you see, that's not exactly the most exciting, liberating, uplifting moment of your highlight of your life. You know what I mean? So it is trauma. Yeah. But we also can't define trauma, right? What some men could take, other men couldn't. That'd be the same for women, right? That's why I get really pissed off in my social media content when people start saying, oh, that doesn't matter, or this is worse, or that's better. Like, you have no idea what history dictates as trauma for somebody, right? Never mind that whenever there's an affair, that's obviously hurtful. That's obviously traumatic, right? So I think what you need to do really is, number one, focus on how far you've come. Dude, you might make mistakes and it makes you feel insecure about even leading other men. But you know your shit. You're just in it. And when you're in it, it's harder to look inside out. That's all. Mm-hmm. But you know it. So if you can start to channel that knowledge in the moment. Have you ever done the anxiety training that I put out in Man with Impact?
I do that naturally, actually.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Per day.
Yeah.
Like I'll be driving home from work and there really happened one day where I haven't really thought about that. It was that morning, you know, and it automatically get me thinking and dwelling about other things and stuff. So usually about once a day, I'll unknowingly do the anxiety challenge.
I think that's how it started for me too. I can't actually quite remember, because remember, I was reminded from reading a book as I was doing the new reset. But the point about it is when you can sit in that pain for those 10 minutes, right? Mm-hmm. And learn that you can choose the direction where you're going, that you're actually just letting your mind run wild. The monster is creating all these different scenarios. Then you can choose the direction you want to go, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Usually I'll dwell on it and I'll get some almost like anxiety or butterflies in my stomach and kind of get worked up and mad. And then all of a sudden I'll be like, nah, I ain't gonna let it bother me anymore. And then usually the day is fine, you know. But that's about how generally it goes.
Now, have you noticed that in your day-to-day with Katie, that when you're just living and you start to feel something, have you noticed you being able to respond that way versus react the way you would have without it?
I think as of lately, since the two arguments, usually when a thought like that happens, she would notice in the years past, she'd be like, what's wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And like, I had two of those questions pop up from her this week, you know, because I have just kind of thought about our arguments and stuff, and she'll come out and see what I'm doing, or we'll just coexist in the house. She's like, what's wrong with you? Or what's wrong? You know what I'm saying? Like the eye roll, like she knows something's up. But before these last two arguments, it was very, very minimal that would ever happen. Like, the mood or the yes tone would change. Like I've been able to hold that just fine. That's
So,
what you're asking. I got lost in my thoughts.
because of the arguments, you're forgetting or you're not responding the way you normally would, like having this anxiety under control.
Yeah, yeah. Like half the day. Yeah, half days.
Excuse me.
Today's been fine for sure. Last night was fine. Yesterday was fine. Yesterday was actually really good. So yeah.
Okay, so what is the difference when you make a mistake? Is it just because you feel guilt, you feel shame, or
Yeah.
why?
Yes.
Or you just, or
Yeah.
she's gonna leave because I fucked up? Like, what is
The
the
old
difference
me.
between?
Yeah. Both. Yeah. The old me came back. She sees that. She's not going to believe I've changed. She's not going to want to keep moving forward. So I get insecure and let the monster in and let it basically
Okay,
run my
so
thoughts.
there's your answer, James. Right? So you don't need to do anxiety training on what she is or is not doing. That part's
Right.
pretty under control. You need to do some anxiety training on how am I? How good am I? I'm okay to make. So start thinking about the worst fucking mistakes you can make, starting with last weekend, right? That wasn't exactly our proudest moment, right? So start thinking about that. Start thinking about her leaving. Start thinking about your kids hating you, screaming at you. Mom's the only one that loves us. You suck. Whatever. However this goes in your mind, right? And learn to deal with that, because that guy is going to be able to conquer his nice guy, right?
Okay.
Because right now you're trying to be good enough, but you're feeling so ashamed that you're holding back who you are. Filtering, dude, you're the most amazing, lovable, fun. Like you're just motivated to. Like I've not met many marriage lords that are so motivated like you are. But it sounds to me like this guy, the old James, needs to learn, or new James needs to learn how to control the old James, so that that guy doesn't come out instead. Right?
Right.
Excuse me.
One of our
do you
guys
think
said
about
all
that?
the
Is
time,
that-
though, it's like you need a punching bag so you can stop punching yourself all the time. Yeah.
Well, it's true.
You know,
Like,
you know who it is. Yeah.
well, if you think about it, James, like, I think mistakes are the most important things in our life. I know that sounds crazy because everybody wants everything to be perfect, but
No, it's
you know,
true.
like,
Yeah.
Catherine is going through some phase right now. I would call it a phase, like for the last week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, where she's just like, I am so in love with you. I'm so happy with you. I'm so lucky to have you. You're the best husband in the world. And I'm like, but babe, what's going on? Right? I mean, we always affirm each other, so it wasn't weird at first, but it's been going pretty heavy. And that's what it really is she's seeing so many of her clients. She's hearing about you guys. She's seeing the social media posts coming in and how people just stay where they're at. And she's like, like she can't believe who I was before. And then she sees how most people don't want to change. You are like me. You're not only wanting to change, you are rapidly changing, right? And so this is the man that Katie will see, is what she is seeing. So as she's sliding on the ring going, yeah, I think I should put that on. That doesn't mean she's going to just trust you. You just had a major mistake. I know she did too, but we don't care about what she did. We only care about who we are in the mirror, right?
Right. Yeah.
And the more that you can show up creating opportunities to chase what you want, the more she's going to look at you the same way that I'm talking about with Catherine right now. Just like, it's just adoration, dude. It's just like, I'm so lucky. Like, where else would I find this? Because if you think about it, and you know, cheating is the worst example, but it's the best one. Look at Corey's story, right? His wife coming back to him after living with the douche. Well, we didn't know he was a douche. She 9-month affair.
We
Excuse
all
me.
know it. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, we know it because we know he's not leveling up. Corey is.
Yeah.
But see, what did she see? She saw, holy shit, I got this douche. And she came back not because he was a douche, because Corey was so great. That's who you are. You're the same. You did it first. You did it faster. Remember when you met me, you didn't even have her with you, right?
Right.
You were out of the house. That was the plan. Get out, see ya, fuck off. I'm done with you for the rest of my life. She said the same things to you then, dude. I don't want to fall for it. So don't chase those bad feelings from the mistakes you just made. Train yourself with the anxiety training to think about how that doesn't matter. I'm not that guy. I'm this guy. I'm the guy that's worth adoration, affection, love. We're not looking for it, but that's just what comes. And then go be that guy and it will come.
Right. I 100% agree. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, so action plan. I love this journal idea, this adding to the scorecard. Okay. In fact, you know what? Like, I'd love your opinion on this, but I feel like that'd be a good thing to actually add to the scorecard. I feel like every man could probably deal with that, cheating or not. What do you think?
Yeah,
Love your opinion.
I think the insecurity is, I mean, I know for me it's my biggest issue. But I think for generally a lot of guys in the group, obviously it is. Especially guys that are on the marriage boards, which is typically the worst of the worst type of relationship.
It's the worst, yeah. Yeah.
Do 180s on. So yeah, I think, absolutely. Maybe something in the note section about insecure, what was I insecure about, how to make me feel, so they can just get it out there. Or I think we have a link in Discord about that, I believe, don't we? About insecurities.
Not specifically, but it is part of everything. But do me a favor, because you'll remember, just text me and say insecurity scorecard, and then I'll add it on there. I like that for the notes, because I believe that even if your wife isn't, going down that path, the point is, if she doesn't want you, we all feel insecure. We all feel less of a man, so it makes us insecure, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, I love that, buddy. I'm going to put that on there for you guys. And then, okay, so that's step one. I love that journal idea, or add it to the scorecard. And then I want you to do the anxiety training, thinking about you not being good enough and what would happen if you're not good enough. Learn to cope with the fact that I'm good enough no matter what she decides to do, right?
Those feelings generally come, like we were talking about mistakes earlier. When I make a mistake and I continue to make the same mistake is when those feelings hit the hardest. I'm like, what is wrong with you? You've done this, you know what to do, what not to do. Why are you continuing to make the same mistake?
But you have to give yourself some grace.
Mistake, I'm like, all right,
well, hopefully you don't make too many new mistakes, but if you think about the past mistakes, you're programmed to do that, right? So in your case, your specific cheating case, right, the way she cheated on you is also worse than most cheating cases, just the way it all went down, right? And so that's part of your programming. So long before Katie, you had your own insecurity issues to deal with. It was all part of your nice guy, your upbringing, your parents not meeting your needs, every relationship that came up in your life until her, okay? Then you had all these problems with her, and it was like, it's over, we're together, it's over, we're together. Well, that's gonna cause a bunch of insecurity because I'm not good enough, it's over, all the time. And then you had the stuff with the affair. So you really have to give yourself some grace, some understanding, some compassion, love yourself through it, and realize the same things that I teach you for your wife that you need to give to yourself first. You were programmed to be insecure. You were programmed.
Absolutely.
You were trained. You edited the programming. Other people edited the programming. Katie edited the programming for you. You had it rough, okay? So now that we understand that, that's okay. Okay, we're not going to define ourselves with that. But all we know is that we're going to make mistakes because we're programmed that way. So what can we do in the moment? So the journal will help you every day to reflect over time, 90 days, 120 days, 1 year, whatever. You will start to retrain your brain because you can take it a step further. Instead of just writing down what you're insecure and how you handled it, what should I do? Did I like the way I responded? Is there anything better I could have done? You can spend 5 minutes a day and do this and really get into it and train yourself, okay? The second thing is then, you can definitely reach out and say to the Lord, okay, this is what I want to do every single time, right? And get the validation that you're doing a good job. That will also take away the anxiety of not doing a good enough job, right?
Right.
It sounds counterintuitive because I tell you to validate yourself. I tell you you're not going to get it from your wife, but that's not what Lords is for. Lords is for us to help each other get through this sorts of shit, right?
Yeah.
The last thing is, with any shame surrounding it, you just need to just dump it in Lords, right? Send me a text. Do whatever you have to do where you're like, fuck, man, I feel so stupid because I XYZ'd last night. I know I should have done the, blah, 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 right? And just hear that it's okay to make a mistake, that doesn't define you. And then when you can release that, you're not sitting in your pain anymore. That, like, if you think to Matthew right now, so I talked to him on a call earlier, I'm like, dude, like, you're choosing to sit in your pain.
Yeah.
Mistakes define you. Without those mistakes, I never would have had Catherine. Without the mistakes with Catherine, I never would have this relationship with Catherine that I have right now, where she's like, oh my God, I'm so lucky to have you. This doesn't exist where somebody can bounce back from what, if you're capable of that, fuck, we can do anything. You know, it's like constant reflection, appreciation, adoration, edification, right? I'm not even looking for it. And then you're going to be doing that for Katie, and that's when you guys become the superpower couple.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you can't do it if you're sitting in your pain and your mistakes.
It's true. Victim triangle. Yeah.
Yeah, man. 100%. Because then no matter what, you're out of control. Oh, shit. Lose my impact. Lose my power. Oh, man, which one am I? And you start to it's just a nightmare, right? And if you think about it, so I didn't really explain this in the reset, but if you think about it, man in power, man with impact, man in control. That's your nice guy triangle. We need to look in the mirror, get out of that. You're not even capable of being a man at home, man with kids, man with purpose, man at play if you're stuck in the triangle.
No,
Why do you think, no, you can't. Why do you think guys that are like, oh, fuck, I can't get any leads with my business, or I don't make enough money with my job, blah, blah. All they're doing is sitting there blaming the fucking world. Why is that different than blaming your wife?
Well, on that, yeah.
Exactly. And that's why those modules are the first modules. That's why posture is replaced with impact. They all go together so well, so that if you can control that, if you can get in an understanding of who you are within those modules, you can do anything you want in life. Anything. And that's why this is, sure, it's go get your wife, but go get your kids. Go get whatever business you want. Go get a promotion. Go be the guy that everybody at the grocery store is coming to talk to. You know, when Catherine and I go to a party, people are walking up to us and like asking us questions. So there's something, I was telling somebody this yesterday, 2 days ago. We walk down a street when we're going on a date tonight. So we'll walk down a street, guaranteed it'll happen like it does every other date, where somebody's going to be like seeing us through a window at a restaurant and they'll be like waving us in. And it's just the way that we interact and walk down the street and just are, right? Yeah. And then when we're with them, it's just build on that. It sounds crazy, dude. But that's what it's like when you're in power, in impact, and in control. When you have those three under control, that's how you are your most authentic self. Then we go find purpose and we amplify it, right? Your wife, your kids, and of course, man at play, all that comes in after. Make sense?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely makes sense.